Hello, and welcome to the Ash Christine Designs podcast and YouTube channel. This is a channel where I host my fiber arts podcast, primarily focused on my knitting projects, but there are some crochet and other projects thrown in. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for checking out this podcast. My name is Ash, and links to everywhere that you can find me online, including Instagram and Ravelry, will be linked in the description box below. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. Today is Saturday, July 22nd, and I am so ready to talk about all of my works in progress that I've been making a little bit of progress on these past 2 weeks. I wanted to quickly mention at the top of the episode that the Summerween Make-Along is still running, but it is coming to a close on the 31st of July. So if you have any Halloween works in progress that you wanted to have entered into the make-along, make sure that you pop on over into the Ravelry thread or post on Instagram using the hashtag SummerweenMal2023, and I'll pop that on the screen for you right here. But yes, I wanted to quickly mention that the Summerween make-along is still running. So if you have any Halloween whips, be sure to enter those in for prizes. And I'll be announcing prize winners at the end of the month or very early August, so keep an eye out here on YouTube or over on my Instagram. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to post the winners yet. Anyways, wanted to quickly mention that at the beginning of the episode. And now let's get into finished objects. I have one finished object for this episode, and that is my rainbow stained glass rain socks. I believe I had one finished last episode, and now I have two. I'm super happy with the way that these turned out. I remember I posted a poll in my Instagram stories asking if I should swap the rainbow order because I was kind of concerned that the red and the orange looked too similar, but a lot of people thought that it was fine and it didn't make any sense to break up the rainbow order, so I'm glad that I stuck with it. I actually really like the way that it turned out. And no, these are not on sock blockers, and I have not blocked them. I don't actually block my socks because they block when you wear them. So I will be taking some finished pictures of this and putting them up on the Ravelry page, as well as sending them over to KnitPicks to be used on their website during the showcase in October. So some quick details about this. The pattern is by me. Like I said, it's the stained glass rain pattern. The needles that I used are US 2 or 2.75 millimeter. That's what's called for in the pattern. The yarn that I used is Knitpicks Stroll in white and a Knitpicks Stroll rainbow mini pack. I blanked on the name for some reason. But yeah, that's the yarn that I used, and I started this project May 28th and I finished July 14th. And that's all of my finished objects for this episode. My first work in progress is a brand new one to the podcast. I have not shown this because I started it I think last night or maybe the night before, and that is my crochet spiderweb bunting. Ignore the band-aid. I got into a fight with a potato peeler and it won. I'm super happy with the way that this is turning out. I think it just looks so cute. But like I said, it is a bunting. So once I finish this web, it'll hang from this little loop here. And I'll go this direction to add more spider webs. I think it's going to be a total of 4. That's what's called for in the pattern. But I'm gonna wait and see what it looks like when I'm finished with the first, and go from there. So let me give you some details about this project. This is the Spiderweb Bunting pattern by Janelia Methalgion. I'm totally not sure if that's how you pronounce the name. I will pop it on the screen here. And all of my project pages will be linked in the description box, so you can go and see all this information and see if I'm mispronouncing the name. The hook I'm using for this is a USC or 2.25 millimeters. And the yarn I'm using is some leftover Knitpicks Stroll in the black colorway. I thought about making these spiderwebs white, considering they're traditionally, spiderwebs are, in nature, they're white. Or like a cream kind of color. But I just think with the color of my walls, black's gonna stand out more. I am following this pattern mostly. I am doubling up the size of the spider webs because, I'll show you, I made one and blocked it to see how big it would be. And when you hold it in your hands, like, it seems to be a pretty good size. I'm trying to hold it in a way where you can see it. It seems to be pretty good size, but like the further back that you hold it, the smaller that you can tell it is. And considering where it's going to be on my wall, it's going to be pretty high up. I want to make sure that it's you know, large, but it still has the spiderweb shaping. So I'm working my way through this one. Once I finish the first spiderweb on this bunting, I'm going to block it and check the size. As long as I'm not having any issues with the web like curling up or anything, or the chain spaces in between being too long, then I will continue on and just make this bunting doubled all the way throughout. I wanted to say that this is a paid for pattern, but the designer does have a free YouTube video that walks you through it. So if you were interested in making this, I will leave a link to the YouTube video as well as the pattern in the description box below. I'm sort of making the spiderweb bunting as part of the Summerween make-along, just as a way for me to kind of celebrate it. Obviously I won't enter for my own prizes, but I just think it's fun to make Halloween stuff, and I do have a few Halloween projects coming up soon, so I wanted to get a jump start on some of those while the Summerween make-along is still going on. And speaking of Halloween projects, it's time for me to give you an update on my Wednesday vests. So I have finished the first 2 columns of the back. They are severely rolled. They do unroll. They're quite wide columns. This is the neckline shaping one. This is one of the ones on the back, and then this one I think is the, if I hold it the right way around, I think this one is one closest to like the armpit, and it has like the armpit shaping. Yes, this is that one. So it has this funky little like shaping. It's very hard to show stockinette like this because it's just, it wants to fight me and wants to roll back, but hopefully that gives you an idea of the shaping. And I'm on the 3rd square in this column. So this is the 3rd column and I'm on the 3rd square. So this has been a super fun project to work on, and I'm finding out different ways that I like to do shaping. Because my sweater experience is not necessarily new, I have knit multiple sweaters before, but I am new to this type of shaping where you're working with, you know, small sections to actually do the shaping. You're not working across the whole garment at once. It's been fun and interesting to work up some new to me shaping techniques. Some of these are things I've never done in a sweater before, and I also have never knit a vest before, so this is all very, very fun. The needles I'm using for that project are US 7 or 4.5 millimeters, and the yarn I'm using is Caron Simply Soft in the black and white colorways. Now that I'm done with the first 2 columns for the back, I might go ahead and seam these together and kind of see what it's looking like. Obviously, I know it's not going to fix the rolling issue, but I think it might be fun to take a break from the knitting part of this project and do some seaming. So then when I finish the next column, I can add that right in and just go ahead and seam it as part of the back. So that's a thought I had. My last work in progress is my dipped pullover, which I finished the body of. I don't remember if I finished that. No, I had not finished that. So last episode, I complained and whinged on about this and talked about how I was not enjoying it and I was ready to be done with it, and it was slowing my mojo to actually knit. Since then, I have picked back up and finished the body. Here's where I was last episode. So I only had a little bit to go before I got to start on the ribbing. So yeah, once I bound off the ribbing a few days ago, I picked up for the first sleeve. And it's going well so far. I'm super happy with the way that the whole sweater is looking, and I can't wait to get these sleeves done and have this project be done. Even though I am making progress on it again, I'm still not 100% thrilled with this project, but it's okay because it'll be off the needles soon. That pattern is the Dipped Pullover by the Yarnspirations Design Studio, and the yarn I'm using is Big Twist Classic in the Pastels colorway, and the needles I'm using are US 9 or 5.5 millimeter. And that's the last of my works in progress for this episode. I do have a lot more works in progress that I have not shown on the podcast recently because I have not been making any kinds of progress on them. And that actually got me thinking when I was writing out the show notes for this episode yesterday. I started thinking about the works in progress I haven't been showing on the podcast, and it's not because I don't want to show them, it's because I haven't made any progress, like I said, and I feel like it's pointless to show a project over and over again when it's still at the same stage I showed it last time. So I think next episode, which will be the first Saturday in August, I think that I'm going to pull out all of my works in progress and show all of them. And I think that might be a fun thing for me to do, maybe not every month, but maybe the start of every quarter, and just pull out all of my works in progress and show where I'm at, regardless of whether or not I've made any progress since the last time I showed it. I think it'll be a great way for me to not only hold myself accountable to all of the works in progress that I have on the needles, but it'll also be a great way to pull them all out and take a look at every single one of them and kind of get a refresh on different stages of different projects that I'm in, and also kind of figure out what it is that I want to do with that project, if it's something that I've decided now we're gonna frog this, or if it is something I'm still excited about finishing. And if so, if I'm still excited about finishing it, then I can make a plan for when I want to have it finished, and then month by month, check off each step that's left for that project. So that was a thought that I had. Let me know if that's something that you're interested in. I am definitely going to do it next episode, of pull out all of my works in progress and show them here on the podcast, because I think that, first of all, I have not shown some of these in a really long time, and some of them I have not shown ever, because I started them well before the podcast was a thing, and I have just not taken the time to show them since I started podcasting again last year. Or maybe it was this year that I started podcasting again. I don't remember. Regardless, I think that that is the plan for next episode. So this one might be a slightly shorter episode. I don't know. But next week is probably going to be a longer one, considering I'm going to be pulling out all of my works in progress. So make sure that you have plenty of knitting for next episode. And yeah, I think that that sounds like it would be fun to pull everything out and take a look at all that I have. So make sure that you tune in for next episode. By then, I am hoping to have my dipped pullover finished, because I only have half a sleeve and the second sleeve left. So I really think that I could get that done by next episode. It would also be nice if I could be done with the spiderweb bunting by then. But I'm not sure, considering I still have to finish the first spider web and then block it and make sure that it looks good. I'm not sure that I will have as much time to finish that one as I will the dipped pullover, considering the dipped pullover is already ready to basically be knit on and finished. So yeah, I am hoping for some finished objects next week, but we'll see what it actually ends up being. I am in the middle of writing a brand new novel, so my time is limited. But yeah, that is the plan for next episode, and I hope that I will see you there. Thanks again for watching. If you are a new viewer, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you get notified when my next podcast episode goes live. I also post vlogs and fun make-along content, as well as giveaways. So be sure that you are subscribed so you can get notified for all of that fun stuff that goes down over here on the channel. But like I said, thank you so much for watching this episode, and I shall see you in the next one in early August. Thanks for watching. Bye!